Hi, I'm Amy, thank you for tuning in. This is my May wrap-up video. It will be a pretty short video because, as per my usual fashion, I haven't read that many books. I don't know what is happening this year, but maybe because I'm writing a lot, maybe because I'm busy with a fair bit of life stuff, all good, but just busy. For some reason, I just haven't been reading as much. I think maybe because my evening routine's changed recently, with small person sleep. I used to read quite a lot in that slot, and I'm not doing that now. So yeah, I don't really know what the reason is, but it's fine. I'm still reading loads of great books, just not as many as I'm used to. So first off, I've written down the names of some books because I always forget to mention books if they're not on my physical pile. I got An Education in Malice out of the library and had to return it, so I don't have the physical book to show you. I really enjoyed that one. It's a dark academia vampire book. It's a sort of loose retelling of Carmilla, I think. Carmilla is one of the main characters, and it's about two students and their teacher, and a sapphic relationship that develops, and I'm not going to spoil it by telling you who the relationship is between. I did enjoy this one. I liked the kind of moody gothic feel of it. I liked the dark academia feel. I thought the writing was really, really beautiful. I did have a slight feeling about the relationship. I don't want to spoil it too much. Just flick ahead if you don't want to hear a slight plot spoiler. But I'm not that keen on relationships between teachers and students. I just find the power imbalance really off, and I can't kind of suspend my disbelief for stuff like that. If it doesn't feel right to me, I kind of want to put it aside. So I did enjoy the book, but I thought I'd better mention that. Another thing that I read and absolutely loved was The Last Thing You'll Hear by Jan Dunning. Scholastic sent me an early copy of that to blurb, and I just thought it was great. It's my first Jan Dunning book, but I will definitely read her other book, Mirror Me, after this. It's about a girl who is obsessed with music. She gets an amazing opportunity to be part of a festival, but she's feeling a little bit blocked and finding writing music quite difficult. And then sinister things start happening in her town in relation to this festival, and people start dying, and everybody is strangely obsessed with the festival and with the person who's going to be performing there. I thought it was just really well written. It's super creepy. It's one of those books that just drives you through and you can't stop reading it until you find out what happens. And when you kind of get to the whole execution at the end and you find out what's been going on, it's really good and really satisfying. So massive recommendation of that. I also read the second book in the Thistle Grove series. I love these books so much. They have such great romances in them. They're all set in the fictional town of Thistle Grove, where I wish it wasn't fictional because it sounds awesome, and where it kind of feels like Halloween all year. It's got real fall vibes, and it's a town where these different witch families sort of run the place, but the humans there have no idea. And this one has got I nearly said murder mystery. I'm not sure that there actually is any murder. It's got a mystery aspect to it, which I always really love in a romance, and I just think that these books are top notch. As far as description goes, characters, relationships, everything. Next, I joined in with the Point Horror Book Club again, and this one, Driver's Dead, I don't think I read back in the day. Peter Larangis does tend to have sort of a wild kind of dimension to his books. He also wrote, I think it was the yearbook that the Point Horror Book Club read a year or two ago, and I found that one really weird. This is really weird, but I found it fun. I don't even know really how to explain the plot, so I'll read the blurb. Kirsten's a terrible driver, and the driving lessons just aren't helping. No matter how hard she tries, she can't seem to get the hang of being behind the wheel. Rob's an excellent driver, and he's determined to give Kirsten a few tips on how to improve her driving. But then Rob has a terrible accident, and Kirsten becomes involved in something creepy and dangerous, something that's going to drive her to death. I love Point Horror blurbs. Whoever wrote those, kudos from me because they're awesome. Next up, another early book that I was sent to blurb, How to Survive a Horror Movie. This one is really fun if you're a slasher fan. It's about a girl who is a slasher fan, and she is at a kind of remote boarding school and people start being murdered. And I'm going to just check the back that I don't spoil something too much. Yeah, there's something I'm not going to mention. It is in the blurb. I will mention it. I've just gone down to it. So she starts seeing the ghosts of the victims and trying to solve the crimes with their help/hindrance. It feels a little bit tongue-in-cheek, like the author's kind of having fun with the genre of slashers. I think if you're a fan of things like Scream, and I know we did last summer, you will like this one. And finally, a nice surprise of an early book that I've been absolutely desperate to read, Horror Movie by Paul Trembley. It's my first Paul Trembley book. I've not read any of his books before because grief horror isn't a huge favourite of mine, and I know that a couple of his if not all, I don't really know, but certainly the ones I've looked at the back kind of dip their toes in that territory. But this one is about horror movies, as evidenced by the title. And I just loved it. I've got a full review video of that. I don't know whether that's going to come up before or after this one, but just to give you a brief flavour. I thought the characters were interesting in this. The horror is so compelling. I just inhaled it within a few days, which is really unlike me at the moment. I just don't have time to read, and I made time to read this one. It is utterly compelling. There were little bits of script in the book from the horror movie in question, which I love. Please check out my full review when it's available, but I highly recommend this one. If you haven't read any Paul Trembley before, if you have read it, regardless, please give this a go. And that is it, my very short pile. Please let me know if there's any of the books that you have read that you're excited to read. I know a few of them are early books, so they may not, you may not have had access to them yet. So just let me know in the comments what you think about all of that. Thanks so much for watching. As always, likes and subscribes are really appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!